So according to the article, they ask if you knew that anyone, radicals included, can access your personal information online. Now, this is noteworthy from just a regular, Jane or John Doe, right? But when you're talking about a law enforcement, person, you've had a law enforcement career, you put a lot of bad guys in jail, and some of these are really, really bad guys, then it becomes really concerning. Well, the information is true that anyone, including radicals, can find your personal information online. And with a quick Google search, many can access your home address, your place of employment, phone number, birthday, names, family members, etc. Now, Google your name, and I'm talking to everybody listening and watching the show. Google your name today or right now, the city you live in, and the word address, and you'll really be shocked at what you find. Now, there are free websites all over the internet geared towards, sharing your information. That's their purpose in life, is to share this information. And while you cannot become completely invisible online, you can take steps to make accessing your information a little bit more difficult. Now, now we're going to talk about how to protect yourself online. Now, there are options. So you can make it really hard for someone to do that. You can go to individual sites and try deleting your individual information on a case-by-case basis, which is just like unrealistic and takes you forever. Now, there's a company called Officer Privacy. It offers services like this. They make it easy for people like you and me to delete your information from the internet, and they have some affordable, services that they offer to people to help take your privacy back, especially if you're considered for your safety. Now, Officer Privacy, it's owned and operated by law enforcement officers, which is another boost for them. It's a trusted service for law enforcement officers across the country, and it's been around for years. So you can take back your privacy with Officer Privacy today. So you guys may want to consider that. I actually am going to be checking them out as well, because that's a growing concern, for me. And I used to work with Brett Bartlett, so if I'm concerned, I can only imagine how Brett Bartlett would feel, because I used to see some of the stuff he did on duty. And dude, Brett, you need to call this company right away. Travis Yates.
Yeah, Chip. I mean, I'm very, very hesitant to just endorse products, right, or companies, because I think everybody in law enforcement knows that there's lots of vultures out there. But I will tell you, it's one of my favorite companies. I know Pete James over at Officer Privacy.
Oh,
And
really? Cool.
yeah, and he's just a phenomenal guy. And he's one of these rare business owners. Of course, he's former law enforcement, but he's one of these rare business owners that really he does it because he cares. He's doing it as a service. And, I don't know how he even makes money, because when you look at the services he provides, he has a lot of free resources right there on the website. But I think his bottom services is just very inexpensive. We're talking single digits a month, for cheaper than price a cup of coffee every single day. And to me, it's amazing, because I speak from someone that this has occurred to. I don't know if people know this, but there's about 70 different websites that pretty much anybody can figure out your phone number, where you live, this and that. And that's not counting what maybe attorneys may have when they pay for expensive services that get credit reports. But the general activist, or the mad citizen, or the mad person you arrested, it is not difficult. And I've had a couple just through the years. I mean, not only did they get my address and my phone number, they got my wife's and my kids and channels they had on social media. And for me, I'm amazed when law enforcement, that we're so officer safety conscious, that we're so at risk just off duty, private, in our home with our families. I mean, I don't put my training dates on my website, because it basically says when I'm not home, right? And so we have to think about that. And it's the easiest thing to do when you go to officerprivacy.com, and if you don't believe me, download their free book. Look at what they're doing. It really is incredible. I've known Pete for a number of years, and I'm just so impressed by what he's doing. I wish I was smart enough to have figured it out myself, because it is phenomenal. And he has a bunch of employees that are cops that do this. So they have a couple of services. One is you do it yourself, which takes about 10 minutes a day, for about 10 days, and you sort of get it sort of where you need it, but then you have to continually monitor it. But then they have a service where they do it all for you. They're all very inexpensive. You're paying more for Netflix a month than what Pete charges. So I just think from a law enforcement perspective, even civilian perspective, because they also do this for civilians, it's a game changer. And I'm so glad that, because I didn't know about it. I didn't know this existed, Chip, until it happened to me. And I'm talking, I gave a radio interview about the truth, and I come home to get death threats all over my email and social media and everything. Of course, you know how they find your social media, but I was really shocked they could find the private personal information. So what Pete's doing, I have no doubt, is helping people tremendously, potentially even saving lives, because we need to make it more difficult for people to do. So I just wish everybody would check it out. It's one of those little gems, the secrets that people don't know about. And I found out about it a few years ago, and I just love it.
Yeah, and Chip, from my perspective as an expert, not all of my opinions are popular with everyone. And as you might know, a large county out of Arizona, the largest county in Arizona, uh, will employ me to do a full review of a report before they choose to charge an officer. Well, when they choose not to charge an officer, then they publish my report publicly. And here's the problem with that is that 20 minutes after they do a news release of this and they name me by name and my company, I had CNN, NBC, Fox News. I mean, everybody who's anybody across the country is literally calling, reporters, whatever the case is, to get a jump on the story. And my answer simply is, look, everything I have to say about this case is in the report. So read the report. I'm not going to opine on it. It's not my protocol. The problem is they're in front of my house, right there, and it's completely irrelevant. So civilian or otherwise, take care of your own privacy, because I can tell you that a police officer is going to handle things differently when somebody is on their property that shouldn't be there. And this isn't just for officer safety. This is for the public safety. Don't do that. Right. Don't, and I can, I'm not verbose, and I'm not, one of these guys that's flexing, but I'm telling you, my family is the most important thing in the world to me. You're on my property uninvited. You've got bigger problems than you not liking my opinions. The opinion I have after that's going to be pretty shady. So,
Well, speaking of shady, Captain, you're up.
Well, here's another problem, Chip. As a PI, I have access to all kinds of way cool databases a lot of other people don't have. And I'm telling you, people would be shocked to find out what's available on them. And it's not just Google. It's deeper, it's deeper, it's deeper.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at finding stuff, but there's a whole new genre of private investigator out there who were trained by experts in open source intelligence. I went to a class earlier in the year, showed a difference. Chip, they can crawl up your butt with a microscope and you won't even know they're there. It's scary. And it's not just you. One of the tactics is, all right, let's go take a look at the relatives. Let's go take a look at friends. So they circle around you, and then boom, you're in the middle.
Yeah.
So you got to tell your relatives too. You got to quit doing this stuff. All of us have to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you think you don't need it, I mean, if your family's attached to all of it, as Brett said, and I'm sure you covered this at the time, Chip, but it wasn't too long ago that Joseph Mensah, Wauwatosa Police Department, who was an African American officer, was happened to shoot an African American civilian. It was real justified, but the activists went crazy. They started protesting. They went to his house, took a shotgun, and kicked the back door in, allegedly, to his house and fired a round off. I mean, and because they knew his address. And so that's next level. If you get involved in some sort of shooting and departments release names, and that's a whole other topic on why we should not be doing that. Yeah. But like I said, I think for the price, it's just worth it.
I agree.
And Chip, in this new age of AI, and I've had some briefings about that, it's going to get worse. It's easier and easier for somebody to find you.
Gotcha. Well, look, thanks, Captain, and guys, for commenting. Chris Madsen on the stream, thanks for the support. Commercial break, guys. We'll be right back.